1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am your host, Precious D, and today I'm all by myself. We had some scheduling issues this week, so we will not be doing our regularly scheduled episode. We're going to get that recorded and up as soon as possible, but I thought I would come talk to you a little bit about the stuff that's going on right now. And then we're going to play a little something extra that we recorded a few weeks ago as kind of a little plug for our Patreon. That's at patreon.com/MMFTG. First off, I got an interesting new book on the recommendation from the guys over at Vintage RPG podcast. It is Attack of the New B Movies, Essays on Sci-Fi Original Films. The time is coming very quickly when we're going to have to be covering a number of those sci-fi original films as part of our mandate, because some of them do fall, I think, into the kaiju category. Anyway, it's a collection of essays about those films. It's from McFarland Books, and you can find it on their website, McFarland and Company Incorporated Publishers. You can find it at mcfarlandbooks.com, and I think they're having some kind of discount right now, so look for that code on the front page of their website. It's like Holiday 23, and I think it's still active for about 25% off. But the big things to talk about are Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, which is 4 episodes in now, and of course Godzilla -1. So Monarch, Legacy of Monsters is, as you probably know by now, is part of Legendary's Monsterverse Monsterverse universe, whatever you want to call it, which of course is various films and comic books and now a TV series. And I think the first week they loaded up 2 episodes, and then new episodes come out every Friday. So 3 weeks in, 4 episodes, because there was 2 the first week. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but it's pretty good so far. It kind of jumps around in time to a time shortly after World War II and now. And there's a little bit of mystery about what happened to somebody's father. And you may have heard that Kurt Russell and his son, is it Wyatt? Let me look him up real quickly here. Kurt Russell's son. They play 2 different versions of the same character. Yes, Wyatt Russell. Wyatt plays him in the flashbacks. Kurt plays him in the current timeline. Kurt Russell supposedly served in World War II, which they did address, because he's only 72 and he should be about 90 according to the timeline of the movie. He just says something about good genes, but I'm thinking, the various radiations he's been exposed to and whatnot are probably keeping him younger. Anyway, it's a pretty good show. I am enjoying it so far. I like the jumping around in time. We're seeing we got some glimpses of Godzilla, but really they were in flashback. I think it was new footage, but it was flashing back to the events of that first legendary Godzilla movie. But we've got a couple of other kaijus that we've caught glimpses of, seen. Pretty much there's going to be a kaiju in every episode. And they're kind of presenting Monarch as the bad guys right now, but I think our good guys that are, well, I don't want to say any spoilers, but there's a conflict between some, ragtag group of random people and the government agency. But they'll probably all come together in the end and fight monsters together. I don't know. There's a lot of human shit in this show. Honeybee tends to not like the human shit, but the show is mostly human shit. But the kaiju shit is pretty good, too. And I'm recording this on Friday. It'll go up on Saturday. But yesterday, which is Thursday, I went to see Godzilla -1, the new Toho Godzilla movie, now in theaters. And I cannot urge you enough to go see this movie. It is my new favorite Godzilla movie. The best ever, maybe, but certainly the best since the original. It's got pretty high ratings from audiences and critics. Excuse me. Folks, I don't have time to do any editing today, so there's going to be some burps and some coughs in this episode. You're just going to have to live with it. Let's see if we can find out what the ratings are. Audience rating on Google is 4.9 out of 5. That's out of 130 ratings. Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes has to say about it. A 97 from the Tomometer. And the audience score is a 98. So that is pretty good. And let's just take a look at Letterboxd real quick. See what they have to say about it. Folks, if you don't have a Letterboxd account, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Logging the movies that you watched, keeping track of them all, rating them. I have my own Letterboxd page, but the show has one as well. And the site can't be reached, so let me just go on my phone here. I'm just vamping here, folks, trying to fill time, trying to give you some quantity for your money, which, of course, was no money at all. You're not paying to listen to this. Letterboxd on my phone. Be patient. Godzilla -1 on Letterboxd. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, phone. You can do it. I gave it 5 stars myself. As I said, my new favorite. It has a rating of 4.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It has no 1-star reviews. They're all in like the 3.5 to 5-star range, it looks like, mostly. So, it's, I don't want to go into spoilers. Of course, when we'll eventually get to it on the show and do a full breakdown of it. I don't think it's a spoiler to say it's a period piece. It's set at the end of World War II and then the years immediately following. It's not a remake exactly, but it does go back to that kind of period of the original movie and revisit some themes of the original movie. But I'd say it's not that it isn't about the atomic bomb. The bomb is certainly a factor in the movie, but I think it's more about the trauma of war itself than about atomic bombs specifically. And both the individual people and the country as a whole being traumatized by the war that they have just survived, and the difficulty of leaving the war behind and moving on with your life and moving forward. The effects themselves are good, great. The monster is devastating. The design's pretty good. There's a new element. I don't want to spoil that. Just let that surprise you when it pops up. I really, as I indicated before, there's human shit. There's always human shit in these movies. And sometimes the human shit is boring, but I actually cared about the human shit in this movie. I liked the characters. I was invested in them. The actors all did a really good job. And then when Godzilla shows up, it's really good. And it's really, it's a serious film. It's not the silly nonsense that we got in later Godzilla eras, and even more recently in Godzilla vs. Kong. There was a lot of silly nonsense in Godzilla vs. Kong. This is a pretty serious film, almost dour, but in a good way. So if you have the opportunity, please go out to the theater and see Godzilla -1. It is 5 stars from me across the board. And now I think we're going to go to that piece that we recorded earlier that I mentioned. A few weeks ago at DamnCon, Honeybee and I met up with my friend and our patron, Chris Armendariz, and we had a little chat with him that we recorded that we thought was fun. We put it up on our Patreon, but we said we might put it out as kind of a little ad for our Patreon. Right now, as long as we have a manageable number of patrons, you can request a movie, not demand, but request a movie for us to do. We will not do Twilight or any of its sequels unless somehow we get 100 patrons. Then we will do Twilight. But you can request something else, and given the appropriateness and availability, we will cover it for you. We are still making our way through the lyrics of science fiction double feature, by the way, and we have some stuff lined up to do after we get done with that. So, but we had a fun conversation with Chris about his movie request, Ghost Rider. So we will go to that now. And thank you all for joining me here today. Sorry for the short episode, but we will be back to our regular programming as soon as possible. Please, if you do enjoy the show, like, subscribe, rate, review. Go to mmftg.com. You can find links to all our stuff there, including our Patreon, patreon.com/mmftg. And now to that interview / discussion. Okay. Hey, patrons, we are here with one of our patrons, Chris Armendariz. Ooh. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
We're here at DamnCon. Chilling outside. I hope the mics don't pick up too much wind. And Chris chose our first patron request, the Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. And we just wanted him to explain himself.
Tell us why.
So you've been pestering me online for a couple of years to do this movie. Why in particular?
I mean, honestly, I just think, I guess with Nicolas Cage as, the titular Ghost Rider, I mean, it's just like a masterpiece of cinema. I myself think, it's Oscar-worthy, but, that's just my thought. But honestly, I do it because honestly, I just love getting right at you every time.
Right? You just wanted me to go, no! Yeah.
Every time I would just say it, it was just like I could feel just like the burning hatred that comes off of you when you're typing it, and I'm just like, Oh, this is just so good. And then when you said that, I was like, yeah, I gotta do this. I've
Yeah.
immediately got to jump on.
So if you're haven't been paying attention, last time Chris asked, I said, tell you what, if you become a patron, we'll do both Ghost Rider movies, and he immediately
yeah, it wasn't
hit
even
that subscribe
That
button.
wasn't even 5 minutes after he said that, and I just typed done.
like, oh,
I
shit.
was just ready for this.
So we are, Honeybee and I are in the same location
Hello.
on one of those rare occasions. So we've both already watched the first one. We're gonna watch the second one when we're done here, and then we will record at least one of the. It just depends on how much time we have.
yeah.
We'll at least record one of them, but possibly both of them. We'll do 2 separate episodes so that Chris can get the most value for his money.
I'm waiting with bated breath for this.
And well, I was gonna explain the whole thing, but only patrons are hearing this right now. Maybe we'll use this as a promo.
Yeah, sure.
We can play part of this at the end of a regular episode, as well as for the patrons. Say, if you become a patron, as long as we have a manageable number of patrons, you can request a movie. Request a movie, not demand. We do reserve the right to say no, based on, is it available? Is it objectionable? And we're saying up front, we will never do Twilight unless we get 100 patrons. And then maybe at 150 we'll do the second movie, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so don't think you got a loophole by saying, oh, well, I'll request Breaking Dawn Part 2. No, we'll set a threshold for that.
Now, is it any Stephanie Meyer movie? 'Cause,
Are you going to use a host loophole?
Yes.
We did just do one of her movies recently for the 31 Days of Horror.
No.
I mean,
No.
Yeah, Blood and Chocolate, wasn't that?
No, that's somebody else.
Oh,
It's the same young adult category, but no, it's.
I mean,
as far as I know, she's only written Twilight and The Host.
to be fair,
Did I miss anything?
it is. It's not the Twilight series.
Then she did start. No, she didn't. No, it was the 50 Shades woman. We're not doing 50 Shades either. You can go straight to hell with that bullshit. But the 50 Shades woman rewrote the first
50
book.
Shades Woman.
Rewrote the first book from the guy's point of view.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that Stephanie had done that, had retold part of the story from the vampire's point of view, which might be where the 50 Shades lady got the idea for. I think there was would you call it a sidequel? It's not a prequel, it's not a sequel, it's happening at the same time as the other story, just from a different point of view. I think that would be a sidequel.
I have no idea.
Well, is there anything else, Chris, you want to say about Ghost Rider or Nicolas Cage?
I have a question.
Sure.
How old were you when the movie came out? Or like when you first saw it?
See, when did it come out? Now we have to.
I want to say like 2005 to 7.
Something like that.
If it was 2005,
I think it's 2004 and the sequel's 2007, but I
Okay.
won't.
If it
but
was
I won't swear to
2004,
that.
then I just turned 18.
Okay.
Okay.
And then,
All
so
right,
if it was
so-
2007,
so-
then I was 20, I believe.
I mean,
No,
just
yeah,
of
2021.
course we're going to do a full episode, but at the time I was like, well, you do get to see Nicolas Cage's head burst into flame, so
So
that
you
seems
not
like an
Nicolas
up.
Cage?
Be
I
honest.
have enjoyed some movies he's in, but I don't think he's really a selling point for me.
I mean, when he
Like-
said Nicolas Cage is, Ghost Rider, I was sold. I was like,
Like I will go see a Schwarzenegger movie, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That is, if you say there's a new Schwarzenegger movie, I'm not going to ask, oh, what's it about? I'm going to go see the new Schwarzenegger movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you say there's a Nicolas Cage movie, I'm going to be like, well, I need more information. Because there's, some I've enjoyed and others, I've got one I paid for that I haven't watched yet, Mandy, which now is available free places. But, people said good things, and it was on sale, so I bought it. So it just really depends with Nicolas Cage.
Okay, all right.
I mean, there's a whole B plot of an episode of Community where the class is, I think, it's a film class, and it's basically Nicolas Cage, good or bad.
I mean, why not great?
And it was, it's just analyzing the idea of, is he a good actor or is he a bad actor? And I think Abed tried to argue both.
I kind of feel like Nicolas Cage is like the Nickelback of actors in this way, okay? Because like he's kind of like big, right? He's like big, and a lot of people absolutely love him, but it's not cool to do so.
Right.
So in a way, I kind of feel like he's kind of that guy. Like he's big, he's good, but it's uncool to like him, to like think that he's great.
I mean, I did enjoy the movie where he's playing himself recently.
Yeah.
That was fun. I'm very glad that his Superman never got made. I'm mixed feelings about the cameo of that idea.
I was about to say, did you see the cameo?
I saw the Flash. Yeah, I saw the Flash.
Is Giant Spider too?
I did not completely hate the Flash. It still has problems, but I went in expecting to just hate every moment of it. So it was not as bad as I expected. I enjoyed some moments. I still don't like Ezra Miller as an actor or a person, and I don't care for Flash as Peter Parker. They need to get past that bullshit. He's a grown-ass man.
Well, I will say, for me, there are movies where I love Nicolas Cage. Like, love. Like, Con Air is one.
Con Air is great.
It's so good. Face Off.
Face Off.
So good, right? These are, like, movies where it's just like, he's just such a... He's so good.
It's like a tour de force of acting.
I feel like in Face Off that neither of them are really trying to play the other actor, though. But Travolta might be doing a slightly better job. Pretending to be Nicolas Cage.
No, Nicolas Cage is,
You think he's doing Travolta?
He's bringing his A game in that one for sure.
You think he's doing a good impersonation of Travolta?
Yeah, he was, like the director was like, okay, you get to play not only yourself, but you also get to play John Travolta. And I mean, he was just, you probably just could see it in his eyes. He's just like, I can do this. I've got the Saturday Night Fever.
Let me tell you who did a good job of that. I'm going to do a deep dive here.
Okay.
Have you ever seen any of the Pink Panther movies, the original ones with Peter Sellers?
No, I can't say I have.
Well, they kept making them after he died. Mm-hmm. And the first one was called The Trail of the Pink Panther, where they used deleted scenes in combination with an impersonator.
Okay.
Wow.
Rich Little used to do celebrity impersonations. And so the main character, Clouseau, is missing. And this reporter's trying to gather information about what happened to him. Mm-hmm. And they used some deleted scenes from other movies. And they used some scenes of Rich Little in the shadows. Doing his impersonation to stitch together a plot.
Oh, okay.
And then in The Curse of the Pink Panther, they got a computer to choose the world's greatest detective to find Clouseau. Mm-hmm. But his boss doesn't want him found, so he reprograms the computer to find the worst detective. Who ends up being another guy that's just like Clouseau, just a bumbling incompetent who stumbles into success.
Yeah.
The long story short is Clouseau is in hiding and has had plastic surgery done.
Oh, okay.
So we keep getting glimpses of this throughout the movie.
Oh, I see.
And when his bandages are taken off and we finally see him at the end, it's Roger Moore playing James Bond. Third James Bond. Doing a fucking brilliant Peter Sellers playing Clouseau impersonation. And Roger Moore at the time was not known for comedy. He was known for being James Bond.
Yeah.
They were the sort of comedy James Bonds, but it was just such a outside of the box thing to cast him as Clouseau. And he really does a great job of playing the other actor playing this character.
Yeah.
So much better than either Nicolas Cage or John Travolta did.
I mean, I disagree. I mean, you've seen, what's called John Travolta and all those movies that he's done. He'll play, sometimes just straight lace, but I mean, then you've seen, the past, movies of Nicolas Cage, and you see how outlandish he can be and how eccentric. He is. I mean, and then just having them two, just back to back is just like I said. I mean, I honestly think that they got shafted at the Oscars because I think that was Oscar worthy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a moment in the first Ghost Rider that kind of reminds me of Face Off, like when he's
When
first.
his face comes off.
Yeah, when he's first like kind of like feeling the heat, and he kind of starts like, and it just kind of reminds me of that scene in Face Off where he's like in the like he kind of like squats down a little bit. And he's like, you know what I'm talking about?
And especially like in the second one where you start just freaking out in front of everybody. It's just like, you can't tell me that's not brilliant acting right there.
I mean, it's acting.
It's brilliant acting.
I've actually been reading some of the original Ghost Rider comic books in preparation for this.
Oh,
really?
Hell yeah.
Which, folks, if you have a library card, you can access, for most libraries, maybe not everyone, there's an app called Hoopla that you can connect your library card if your library participates, and you can get digital content through there. There's a couple different apps now. So they have ebooks and audiobooks and even movies and TV shows. As far as I know, it's the only way to watch Lucy Lawless's detective TV show.
Really?
She did after Xena.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how I'm reading these old Ghost Rider comics. They got a lot of stuff on there.
Oh.
So I recommend that, just in general, but certainly for Ghost Rider research.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I have kind of a weird, kind of sad Nicolas Cage moment too. So my biological dad looked a lot like Nicolas Cage, and as a kid, to me, like my kid brain, like looking at him, I'd be like, wow, and then seeing the actor, and then he died when I was like 8, and I know I don't have any like pictures or anything. So like growing up as a kid, I would always like kind of feel connected to Nicolas Cage in this way. Like every time like there was a movie that came out or something like that, I would feel like, oh, I like get to see my dad in this way. Like not that it was my dad obviously, and I knew that, but they just look so similar in my brain, and I don't have any like pictures of my like biological dad, so every time I see Nicolas Cage I think of my dad.
I have some news for you.
What?
Nicolas Cage is your dad, and he's here today, ladies and gentlemen. Nicolas Cage. I'm really pleased to be here. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
No, do a bumper. I'm Nicolas Cage, and you're
I'm
listening.
Nicolas Cage, and you're listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's so funny.
I was talking about, I don't want to say too much about the movie because we're going to record a whole episode, but
Yeah.
that he's kind of at maximum Elvis in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the movie where he's playing an Elvis impersonator. But I really believe that he married Lisa Marie Presley as a collector's item. Which is probably why they're no longer together, because you can't base a relationship on that.
Well, I mean, that's the closest you're going to get to, the king himself, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was close, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
That's as close as you can get.
Yeah.
And I feel like the whole thing with her and Michael Jackson was some sort of experiment in eugenics, like trying to create sort of the ultimate musician or something. But that doesn't seem to have gone anywhere. So.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, this took a weird turn somewhere.
Remember, she was married to Michael Jackson, and they had a child.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, that's a true thing, right? I'm not making that up.
I don't
Google
have
it.
any.
Google it, folks.
Somebody look it up.
Let's take a look.
I mean, I'll cut it out if it's not true, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing
No,
that
I
happened.
mean, I believe you.
Because there seemed to be a lot of speculation of whether there was any doctors involved in that.
Michael Jackson and Presley child.
Yeah, there you go.
They had no children. Presley had 4 children from her other marriages. Yeah. Okay.
No,
so
they never had
They
children.
didn't. Oh, they didn't have
Nope.
children. Well, so it was a failed attempt at creating the ultimate musician.
Yeah.
No, he had a child with like his housekeeper or something. That it seemed like
Some other lady.
that he sort of maybe paid her to have. Honestly, she's not.
She wasn't Billie
Jesus
Jean.
Oh, okay. Well, it was in '94. That's why I don't remember it.
Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I think we've gone really off topic, so it might be time to wrap up this interview. But Chris, we appreciate your support, and everybody follow his example.
Yeah. Do you want to plug something?
I mean, just,
Your Instagram or something?
I
Your
don't,
Facebook?
I don't have any of that stuff.
Okay. Well, good.
He's like Jason Mantzoukas. He's like, I am not on Twitter.
Yeah. I am not on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for supporting us and being a patron and picking a movie.
All right. I appreciate y'all having me on here, and then I look forward to more Nicolas Cage.
Once we got through all the other patrons, then
Of
maybe
course.
you can request another one.
All right.
All right, bye, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texicano Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MNFTG.